What's going on, YouTube? Back at it this time with a bonus episode for this month, where I'm going to try to read an entire concept myself. Oh, this is going to be a car crash, so let's see how it goes. This concept is another Naruto RWBY crossover what if, where Naruto and Kushina are accidentally sent to Remnant immediately after Naruto's birth. Due to the rules established in the canon-adjacent RWBY DC crossover, Naruto and Kushina have become Faunus in Remnant, and now have joined the White Fang and are heading to Atlas just before a particular event that is about to occur and change the life of Cinder and turn her into a villain. Is Naruto's intervention enough to keep Cinder from failing or falling into the darkness, or will she still fall? Before we find that answer out, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy this kind of content. Leave a comment to express what part you liked or if you want to see the full story. Now onto the preview from Leaves to Ashes. The night's air was frigid as the sea breeze chilled all on the deck to the bone. The temperature was rapidly dropping as they sailed to their destination. The coldest continent of the world, Solace. A pitiful sigh escaped as deep, azure, almost violet eyes fluttered at the shattered moon. Her brilliant red hair flickered in the wind. 14 years. It would be 15 months. It had been that long since she arrived here with her baby boy cradled in her arms on death's door. Her husband attempted to fight off that masked man, who grabbed her baby boy right after she had given birth. He had snatched him back, but she was taken instead. He attempted to rip the nine-tailed fox from her body. That was his goal all along, and her baby boy was but a distraction. Yet the fox was cunning. He didn't want to escape to fall into someone else's hands. So he separated his chakra in half, and left a part of himself inside of her, unbeknownst to that masked man. And then the fox kept her alive after that incident. She didn't understand what had happened, but he had attempted one last time to claim the fox as Minato used the Reaper seal. Her memory was foggy, and all she could remember was a bright light. She was lying in the middle of a cold, concrete street with her baby in her hands under the shattered mood, and for some reason, a thick, crimson appendage with a white furry tip swished in annoyance behind her. They had become Faunus? She didn't know it at the time, but she had learned from the people of this world that that's what they are called. A race that was actively discriminated against, making adjusting to this life here a living nightmare. It could always be worse, maggot. Shut up, Kurama. I don't want to hear from you, Kushina scolded and squinted at hearing the fox's voice echo in her mind, only for it to sneer back. Do not speak to me like we're friends, woman. Only he may call me by name. Agitated, her tail fervently swished behind her and she furrowed her brow. You contacted me, so don't expect a warm response. I only did it to snap you out of that pathetic little pity party. My boy has arrived. Mom, are you okay? Her baby boy's voice resonated behind her. Don't we have a long day tomorrow? Shouldn't you be getting some sleep too? Kushina whirled around from the railing. Her eyes fell onto her orange-cladded boy, a color he had chose to represent that he was her child along with Minato's. He worriedly tilted his head at her, his little fox ears curled on his spiky mane of blonde locks, further expressing his concern. At least he inherited his father's good looks. I'll be there in a minute, Naruto. Kushina faintly smiled at her handsome young man before closing her eyes. I was just reminiscing. We're coming up on 15 years now. Naruto's expression soured into a scowl, and Kushina sighed. It wasn't a surprise he didn't like that she hung on to the past, outside of memorializing his father. This was his world. He was raised here. Even if he was born from the other world, this was become his home. She couldn't blame him for that. I guess I understand, Naruto sighed, rubbing the back of his neck, still frowning. I get that we should never forget Dad. But I think Dad would want us to move forward, wouldn't he? To keep pushing on, you know? At least that's what I think. Kushina smirked at her boy before scoffing. That's precisely what Minato would have wanted them to do. He really did inherit a lot from his father. Her only wish was that he didn't pick up on her verbal tics and her unyielding fury. "So you have given that huntsman a call yet?" Naruto chirped as he joined his mother at the railing, a broad grin gracing his features. "What was his name again? Crow or something like that? Think he was into ya." "Get to bed, Databane!" Kushina vividly flushed before lightly shoving her son on the shoulder and scowling at his attempt to change the subject. "I'll call him when I'm good and ready." "Ah, fine, fine," Naruto bellowed with laughter, annoying his mother further as he waved, trailing towards the cabins. "But you better. Don't think Dad would want you to spend all your life like this." Kushina's gaze bored into the back of his retreating head until he had disappeared. Then a forlorn expression faded onto her face, and she exhaled. Gazing back up at the moon, she basked in its rays. "I know, but still not ready to move on." The day had been long. Exhausted and weary, all she wanted was to sleep. Yet it wouldn't come. Sleep was always a battle she could never win. The floor was cold and hard. Her sheets only provided minimal protection. And it was dark. Too dark for a basement filled with clutter. There was barely enough space for her to curl up. The space she had created to train with Rhodes had been piled back on. She had hoped he would return soon, take her away from here. She just wanted to leave this place after 4. She scoffed. Amber eyes glistened wistfully. Had it been 4 years since she had been adopted and brought here? 4 years without the warmth and comfort of a bed? Since she had anyone she could talk to? While she didn't get along with the others at the orphanage, she missed their company. It was pleasant compared to her sisters and the madame. She had thought of the day that she was adopted would have been the best of her life. An aristocratic owner of a luxurious hotel on Atlas that served high-end customers and huntsmen who had 2 young daughters her age. Work was expected, given her occupation, but she would gladly accept that task if it meant a cozy place to stay and a family that cared about her. That was all she ever wanted. Amber eyes bitterly burned in the darkness. How naive she had been to believe that was the case. Madame was strict and demanding, bordering on cruel. No, it was cruel. She worked long days, openly criticized and punished for any mistake she had made, or if something wasn't perfect. Given only these sheets and allowed leniency to be allowed to sleep in the basement, so that she wouldn't blemish the glass unicorn's reputation. Meanwhile, Madame and her daughters slept on lavish beds in rooms with plenty of space and luxurious trinkets. Oh, and her sisters were the worst. Always picking on her and taunting her with their daily lives, calling out every little mistake, doubling her workload, actively sabotaging her work. Her eyes dimmed further as she curled deep into her covers. When was the last time she had a day off? She couldn't remember. It was when she came down with the flu and couldn't be around customers. The creak of the basement door caused her to wince. Rays from the dimly lit outside stung her eyes even as she shaded them with her arm. "Up, Madame," voice sternly resonated with a simple command. "We have a big day today. It's the first day of the Vital Festival, which means our patrons will expect perfection. There is no time to laze about. Get to work, Cinder." Obediently sitting up with a subdued expression and dulled eyes, Cinder numbly nodded. It was what was expected of her. This was her fate. It wasn't like her prince would come and sweep her away from this pit of despair. No, she would have to claw and fight for her freedom. But for now, she listened and obeyed. "Yes, Madame." "Here you are," a young lady with vibrant amber eyes served 2 plates filled with exquisite dishes before them. "I hope you find them to your taste. If you need anything, please call for me." "Thank you, it looks delicious." Kushina flashed her radiant smile towards the young hostess, while Naruto bowed his head in thanks. "Please give our compliments to the chef, Miss Ball." Cinder graciously bowed. A subtle rosy flush spread across her cheeks. Eyes flickered towards her son, whose gaze had been fixated on her. I will give her the message. Have a pleasant rest of the rest of your evening. We will, Kushina continued to beam as Cinder left, her gaze shifting towards Naruto before she smugly grinned. Oh my boy's growing up now, isn't he? No, that's not it! Naruto choked and burned brightly at his mother's accusation before glowering. You suck! Kushina giggled at his reaction, taking her fork and knife and cutting into the steaming roast. If he was going to tease her, she would do it right back. There was always plenty of pretty girls around, and she had been around the block. She knew how to tease him better than he could ever do her. A silence befell the two as she took a ginger bite of her meal, contentedly sighing. It wasn't ramen, but it was a delectable meal nonetheless. Besides, it didn't seem that there were many ramen stands in any of the kingdoms. What a shame. Mom, why are we here? Naruto whispered in a weary tone, meagerly taking a bite of the delicious food they had been served, while scanning the room and scowling. This establishment, this hotel. What was the word for it? Posh? No, that didn't sound right. It was too rich for him. Every guest gathered was so finely dressed in comparison to them, besides a couple of individuals who he could recognize as huntsmen or huntresses. They stood out here. If we're going to be staying here for the next month during the festival, I would like to be comfortable for the duration of while we're here. This is the best establishment in all of Atlas, and my earnings are more than enough to cover it, Kushina responded, exhaling as she could see her son's nervousness. And I refuse to bend to this world's stigmas. I will stay where I damn well want. Naruto recoiled at his mother's sharp tone. He couldn't help but agree. He wanted nothing more than to show up those racist bigots and put them in their places. He just didn't think it was a good idea to stay here where faunists weren't allowed. Having to hold his transformation to hide his features felt wrong. His head snapped back, alert, as a shattering sound echoed in his ear, followed by a weak cry. Was that ceramic? Did the host trip? Cerulean eyes darkened, shimmering as one of the other blonde-haired hostesses passed by their hostess. He scowled, seeing a deviant smirk gracing her features, shifting her hips to side before casually walking away from the scene. Had the other hostess tripped her on purpose? Again? A dark feminine tone resonated, and the madame dauntingly strode towards Cinder, dispirited, kneeling before the mess. How many times have I told you? This shouldn't happen. Young lady, this is unacceptable. If I were giving you room and board, you would be fired. Understand? Hey, Naruto was about to protest loudly, having caught the signs of something underhanded, only to feel his mother's foot tap against his calf, drawing his attention towards her. Her face was stern and steely, but her azure eyes seethed as she shook her head. He knew what that look meant. His body trembled, but he shut his mouth. There were guests here. Causing a scene in front of this many influential individuals would only give them trouble. Naruto scowled, clutching his fist into tight balls. His gaze focused on the other hostess, who continued her job with a content expression. Nah, he wasn't gonna let this slide. Oh, she would get it later. Yes, madame, Cinder reluctantly groveled at the madame's feet, mist glinting in her gaze as she shivered beneath her stern gaze. He shared a glance with his mother, and he understood why she had picked this place to stay. This wasn't a vacation to enjoy the vital festival. This was White Fang business. Clean it up again! Amber eyes shimmered bitterly, like a scorching flame as filthy mop water splashed and dripped all over the floor she had just finished scrubbing. Yet the haggard young teen refused to show the resentment building towards the smirking young blonde. Hanging her head to the side, she dutifully bent over and picked up the bucket without a word. She knew better than to show any form of defiance. To her sister, her mother, it all ended the same. She still had the bruises from the last times, the burns. Instead, she picked up her bucket and trained her attent on the back room so she could fill the bucket once more. The floor had to be cleaned before any customers woke from their slumber. Today was an important day for business, apparently. Something about the start of a vital festival? She honestly didn't care. She was never allowed to watch any of the festivals. This was no different than any other to her. It was just another day, one where she would have to work harder to please the madame of the hotel. "And don't forget to make it shine. It's almost dawn," the madame's daughter snarkily retorted, calling her to stop and forcing her to acknowledge her, a broad smirk spreading across her twisted features. "Wouldn't want to let mother see you working so slowly on a day as momentous as this. Ah, if only Anna and I could bring a strapping young huntsman back today with us." "As you wish, Teresa. It will be spotless." Cinder kept her tone obediently low and submissive along with her posture, despite the swelling and bubbling she felt in the pit of her stomach. They were going? They were leaving here alone with her mother? She gnashed her teeth and turned her head. She clenched the bucket tightly, the item creaking in her grasp as she hastened her step. This was outrageously unfair. They got the day off like usual to go to the festival. Her face shifted to a downtrodden expression as she entered the back room, moving to an industrial sink to fill up her bucket once more. With a turn of the spigot, steaming water came out and poured back into her bucket. And as the water rippled, Cinder let out a silent sob. Her eyes glistened as she shed tears. She would do anything to return to the orphanage instead of being in this place. This wasn't what she thought her life would be when she heard she was being adopted. Couldn't things... "Ah! Get away from me, foul vermin!" "Teresa?" Cinder's head snapped up and towards the commotion outside, several loud yips following her sister's terrified scream. With a quick turn of the knob, she burst from the back room. What could be causing her sister? Amber eyes flickered in amusement as she watched her sister sprint hurriedly. A golden fox nipped at her heels, until it leapt up and bit her sister right in the rear. "Ah!" Teresa screamed as a sharp teeth punctured into her butt, getting a large mouthful of her rump. A short chortle escaped from Cinder before she slapped her hand over her mouth. She couldn't be caught laughing at her sister's dismay. Despite that, it was so amusing to watch her sister scream and run to the front of the building. However, the fox let go and seemingly gagged after the bite. Oh, this couldn't end well. Her sister was most likely going to fetch the madame. "Ah, she tastes as foul as her mouth," this fox spat, its tongue rolling in its mouth, its face contorting into a disgust before its eyes narrowed. "Didn't know what I was expect of that, but that's fair." Cinder recoiled in surprise, stumbling and tripping over her feet. Amber eyes gazed in shock and wonder. Did this fox just talk? No, that couldn't be possible. Yet she stared in wonder as the creature gazed into her eyes. "Ah, sorry about that." A large volume of smoke dispersed around the golden fox before a hand was held out for her Forgot I was still transformed. "Here, let me help you up." Cinder's breath hitched. She gazed into the most blue eyes she had ever seen. They were like a blue ocean. And that smile, it prevented her from recognizing the jester before she was pulled to her feet. "I saw what she did to you yesterday, and I couldn't let that stand, so I gave her a taste of rightful comeuppance." Cinder vividly flushed. This dashing young man with expressive cerulean eyes and brilliant blonde spiky locks did this for her? For her? "Thank you," Cinder timidly responded, before cursing that she let those words escape her lips. If Madame or either of her sisters heard her say such a thing. Don't mention it. She got what she was coming to her. Wish I could do more, honestly." He responded with a broad and dazzling grin before frowning and muttering. Her expression lifted at those words. She let out a hearty giggle while fidgeting with her black buns tied to her hair, trying to straighten them. A young man that rode on in and saved her from torment? She wanted to look her best. This could be her Prince Charming. Could be her prince, the one that she's been yearning for so long. It was more than enough. "Thank you," Cinder fidgeted, while wearily glancing behind to see if the madame was going to roll up onto them. if she caught her not working and consorting with a boy. So you came to attend the Vital Festivals, Sir Huntsman? She curiously inquired, feeling calmer seeing that they were alone. I'm not a huntsman, but my mom's a huntress. I only started training a few years back. I'm here with her as she wanted to use this as a demonstration and a learning trip. He shook his head nervously and chuckled, her head slightly depressed to hide her frown. He was here with his mother? She thought he was older than that. Name's Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki, he beamed, scratching the back of his head and chuckling. Say, I am not very good with this. Do you want to go out and watch the festival with me? Cinder recoiled at his statement. Amber eyes flickered fearfully while her face flushed crimson. Did he ask her? Cinder's expression soured and turned downtrodden. There was no way she could. Madame would never. This was horrible, the worst. A boy finally asked her out and she couldn't accept the invitation? Cruelty was thy name. I'm sorry. I can't. What, because of her? Naruto squinted and scrunched his nose, turning his head down the hall. Forget her. I can cover for you if you want. I got a technique to cover for you. Watch. With another plume of smoke, Amber eyes gleamed as she stumbled back once more. She tripped over her own 2 feet, only to be caught from behind. There was mirror images before her? How was he able to do such a thing? What kind of magic was this? Naruto? What have I told you about showing off, Databale? The firm voice of an irritated woman echoed from directly above her as she settled back onto her feet. Cinder stared up to see a woman with popping red hair, combed straight to her hips, although it had begun to lift and break into 9 separate strands. Mom! Sorry, I know what you were doing. Kushina deeply scowled as her son recoiled and hunched before her very presence. However, she rolled her eyes and sighed, held her hand on her throbbing temple. You could just tell me what you're thinking, dummy. I know she's cute. She reminds me of Makoto a little when I was younger. Cinder jumped from the woman who caught her, nervously flipping her hand through the few bangs she could and tie into buns. She thought she was cute too? Wait. He thought that she was cute? That is not the reason, Naruto bellowed, cheeks heatedly stained red. Of course it's not, Kushina flippantly waved, much to Naruto's chagrin, knowing she knew her son all too well. Her gaze turned towards Cinder. I saw you working here last night. Do you by chance live here? I can talk to the madame if that's the case if you want to go. She won't let me, Cinder interrupted, hanging her head softly and biting her lip. She was never allowed to go do such things. For 4 years she'd been adopted, and all she ever did was work to the bone. Deep azure, almost violent eyes narrowed, daggers held within the gaze. A foreign, intense pressure built around her. It was challenging to breathe. Yet the storm calmed as Kushina let out an exasperated sigh. Allow me to talk to her. I can be very convincing. Kushina strode forward, her hair once more wavering behind her, braiding into 9 separate strands on their own accord. Whoever the madame is? She needs to run, Naruto gulped, seeing his mother's mood, and withdrew. Cinder could only nod in agreement. His mother was genuinely frightening, and she didn't have to get physical to prove it. Perhaps she could teach her a lesson or two. So, yeah, Naruto anxiously scratched the back of his head. Since Mom is handling that, you want to go? Heard there are a lot of vendors selling an assortment of stuff, and there will be a lot of displays of combat. Might be fun. Cinder stared into his eyes queerly. She was at a loss. She wanted to. Slowly, a grin crossed her features, and amber eyes burned fiercely. Why did she have to listen to Madame? She wanted to go. He wanted her to go. So she shall. I do, rolled off her tongue before she knew what she had said. Cool, Naruto beamed excitedly, ready to bounce ahead before frowning. Hey, wait, I never got your name. Calmly stepping beside him, feeling a sense of ease she never felt before, amber eyes locked with his cerulean oceans. This day would be something she would remember forever. Her grin turned manic and she giggled. My name is Cinder. Cinderfall. And that is the first part of From Leaves to Ashes. Oh, you don't want to know the number of retakes that took. And I still stumbled over half of it. Oh well. As I said in the intro, leave a like and comment if you like the story. If this sort of content is what you are after, or what are you waiting for more, hit that subscribe button. The more you vote on something like this, the more likely it's going to continue. I'm going to be updating Wildflowers, Haluva Night, and Silent Dreams once a month here on fanfiction.com and Archive of Our Own. There will be links in the description so you can read all of my concepts or a current iteration of this story while you await the next update. Alright, that's all for now, my guys. Peace.